I do not plan on wrestling him. I will knock him out. I will knock him out.
Alright guys, so UFC 300 is this Saturday. Alex Pereira versus Jamahal Hill for the light heavyweight title. It's going to be great. And Jamahal Hill is the underdog in this matchup, and rightly so, because Alex Pereira, he's a two-time Glory Kickboxing, or a two-division Glory Kickboxing champion, defended his middleweight title several times. And Jamahal Hill has gone on record to say that he wants to knock Alex Pereira out. He doesn't want to grapple at all, but he wants to knock him out. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see this Saturday. And guys, this is not my official prediction for this fight. This is just me basically giving a game plan for Jamahal Hill to beat Alex Pereira because he is the underdog. And with that being said, we're going to talk about the first key to victory for Jamahal Hill to beat Alex Pereira, and that is to pressure Alex Pereira. Alex, he's a power puncher. He hits very, very hard. He's a striker too. And when you give a striker a lot of range and distance, they're going to be able to do like almost what they want. Like every striker wants to have that space. If you take away that space, you crowd them a bit, that's when it can get a bit tricky. But Pereira, he likes to go forward. He likes to put pressure on guys just to like land his leg kicks, land his powerful jab to the head or to the body, and just set up his shots. I'll put some examples on screen of like what happens when you push Pereira back. Yuri Prochazka had a lot of success with this. He was like landing a lot of strikes on Alex Pereira. And the thing about power punchers, even in boxing, like you see this, like you can obviously like just dance around them and avoid their big power shots, but eventually they're probably gonna catch you, like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. But in the rematch, Tyson Fury, like he was pushing Wilder back. He was taking the fight to him. Same thing like Israel Adesanya did that to Alex Pereira in their second MMA fight. He pushed him back and he was able to score the knockout. You got to push the puncher back. The second key to victory for Jamahal Hill is to throw when Pereira throws. Bruno Silva, another southpaw, as you can see on screen, he's able to catch Pereira like really clean, because Pereira, he does this thing where he'll like drop his like opposite hand when he's throwing one shot. So he'll like throw a 1-2 combination. He'll throw the jab, drop it, not bring it back to his face, and then he'll drop he'll throw the cross. And Jamahal Hill, if he's able to just time that 1-2 and he can like take a slight step like out of range so he can get his head off the center to avoid that cross and throw a right hook at the same time, I think he can catch Pereira and definitely hurt him, because Jamahal Hill hits a lot harder than Bruno Silva. And if you get hit that clean on the chin by a light heavyweight, you might go to sleep. The third key to victory for Jamahal Hill is to counter Pereira after he throws leg kicks, because Pereira, I'll put some examples up on screen. After he misses his leg kicks, he'll get out of position and, he'll be able to, like, get hit. Like, if Jamahal Hill pressures him after that, you can, like, either push him back or hit him with, like, a couple shots. Like, you can even potentially, like, hit him with a head kick. Like, you get out of the way, and then, like, walk forward, take one step forward, and then throw, like, a left head kick. And I'll put this example of Bruno Silva, who was in the southpaw stance, and Pereira threw, like, a lead leg, like, kick, but he got countered with a left straight and a combination following that. And Jamahal Hill is explosive too, like Bruno Silva. I think he could be even more explosive than Bruno Silva. So if he gets like hit in the leg as he's in the southpaw, you can counter that left straight and like follow up with shots, or even just push Pereira back. And he can even potentially catch the leg and like push him back for a takedown as well. The next key to victory for Jamahal Hill to beat Alex Pereira is to control Pereira's left hand. The reason why Jamahal Hill needs to do this is because, for one, it's a southpaw versus orthodox matchup, so their lead hands are going to be closer to each other. And Pereira's one of his best weapons is his jab. He sets up a lot of his shots off of his jab. We see it a lot in boxing, but when you're fighting a southpaw, it gets a bit harder to land that jab on a southpaw, because the southpaw has their lead hand in the way. They can control your hand and prevent you from throwing that jab. And yeah, it's a lot harder to land a jab on a southpaw because there's constant traffic in the way. So Jamahal Hill needs to do this to disrupt Pereira from punching. We've seen Adesanya do it. He was able to like limit some of Pereira's offense and build off of his own offense. So Jamahal Hill's going to need to control that hand. And also, his biggest weapon is his left hand with that left hook. So control it and don't let him throw it. The next key to victory for Jamahal Hill is to address the leg kicks. Now, I mentioned earlier that Jamahal Hill needs to counter Pereira's leg kicks, but that's not always going to work. And you need to be able to adapt and have different, answers to different attacks or similar attacks. You can't just, defend a jab one way because your opponent is going to read that and he's going to make the adjustment. You got to use different tactics to avoid it. And that's the same thing with the leg kicks. Sometimes you're just going to have to defend it. And one of the best ways that Jamahal Hill is going to need to do this is to narrow his stance. He's got a very wide stance, and Pereira is going to have a field day with those leg kicks if he stays in that stance. And we've seen someone like Sean Strickland be open to leg kicks in the past, but against Israel Adesanya, he made the adjustment. So I believe that Jamahal Hill, he knows he's going up against a big kicker. I think he's going to need to narrow that stance a bit so that it's easier to check kicks. Because with that wide stance, it's going to take his base away, and it's not going to take long for Pereira to potentially finish him. The next key to victory for Jamahal Hill, although he said he's not going to do it, use Khabib's plan. Jamahal Hill, he's been saying that he's not going to grapple, but I have a feeling that he is going to at some point in this fight. I'm not calling the guy a liar. I'm just saying that he's saying one thing, but I feel like he's a smart fighter, and you got to mix it up. This is MMA. No need to just fight with your ego and try to prove everyone that you're the best striker or whatever. Just win the fight. So Pereira, he's got his stance. He's in the orthodox stance. Jamahal is a southpaw. Go for that single leg takedown. Head on the outside. Go for it. And it can even help to set up that left overhand. So use Khabib's plan. The next key to victory is headshot dead. Jamahal Hill is a southpaw, so that body kick is going to be open for him. And we've seen Adesanya have some success with that body kick. He was blasting Pereira with it. And he came close to landing a couple left head kicks, but Pereira was able to block it in time. But I don't think Adesanya's game plan was really to, end Pereira with a head kick. But Jamahal Hill, he's got a good left head kick. We've seen it against Glover Teixeira. He does a good job of not really telegraphing it because all his kicks kind of look the same. Like the way it starts, he does a really good job of having the same startup for all his kicks, which makes it hard to read. So if he goes for that body kick a couple times, gets Pereira thinking about it and, really focuses on the hands and the body shots, then that head kick could potentially be there if he follows across with a head kick. I'm calling it headshot dead because of Leon Edwards, and Leon Edwards set up his head kick with a cross. So you can set it up with some body shots, sure, but when you're really ready to pull the trigger, throw a cross before, get Pereira to parry it and get his hands in a different position and then blast him with a head kick. And lastly, the last key to victory I have for Jamahal Hill to win this fight is to stay defensively aware. I said earlier that Jamahal Hill needs to pressure Alex Pereira to win this fight, and he does. But that doesn't mean be reckless. You got to be technical, stay aware. Adesanya, he pressured Pereira. He was staying defensively aware in that second fight. Yuri Prochazka, he was pressuring Pereira, but he wasn't. Especially in that ending sequence, he threw an overhand and just fell in range. He didn't exit. He didn't bring his hands back to his chin. And he got knocked out. So Jamahal Hill is going to need to pressure Pereira. But that doesn't mean just forget about your defense. Throw shots, bring it back to your chin because Pereira is going to be looking to counter with left hooks or right hands and right straights. So keep that head active. Keep your head moving active. Keep stay on your feet. Keep your hands up. Especially that right hand. But most importantly, one weakness that Jamahal Hill has, and something that could get him caught, is that he does leave his chin quite high up in the air. He did this against Glover Teixeira several times, against Thiago Santos, even against Johnny Walker. So keep that chin low, because if you keep it up high, you're just asking Pereira, you're daring him to hit you in the chin. And to quickly recap everything I've said, the first key to victory for Jamahal Hill to beat Alex Pereira is to pressure Alex. The second key to victory for Jamahal Hill is to throw at the same time as Alex Pereira. Number 3, counter Pereira's leg kicks. Number 4, fight the hands of Pereira. Number 5, address the leg kicks. Number 6, use Khabib's plan to wrestle. Number 7, headshot that, set up the left head kick. And number 8, stay defensively aware. If Jamahal Hill does all these things, I think he has a very high chance of winning this fight. But we'll see on Saturday. Make sure you guys tune in for my prediction this Friday.